1 second. आ गया. Good evening friends, welcome to JTC India YouTube live classes, and share with your friends, other members, so that we can fastly start the classes. Fine? Okay. So now what we are going to discuss today, and mostly you would have seen in the thumbnail, we have given here the JVM memory management. The topic here is JVM memory management. This is what we are going to discuss today. Fine? And based on this topic called as JVM memory management, many things guys we have discussed in the previous classes, and many other different concepts which is required in order to discuss the JVM memory management, that all in the previous classes we have discussed here, right? In a different forms, different ways guys we have discussed. Guys, please share it fastly, and at least in WhatsApp groups and all, so that other people can start and say hi once, like the video, share it, comment it. Okay, so in this class today we are going to complete the discussion related to the JVM memory management. What is the JVM memory management, how it is going to work, and what all other again different kind of things which is available in the case of JVM memory management, that we will discuss here, right? Before starting the JVM memory management, what already we have seen, what already we have discussed, see here first. We have seen a topic called as variables. Variables we have discussed. Second one, now we have talked about the methods. Well, we have seen even the methods, what exactly methods are, what is the use of this method. Hello everyone. And third one is the blocks. In this we have two specific things. What is this two specific things we are having? The one which I am writing is the one we are having is the instance block. Instance block. And next one what we are having is the static block. This is the 2-3 things which we are having here. It has already started. It has already started, Rahul. We are starting it, correct? Fourth one what we have discussed, constructors we have discussed. So variable, method, block, constructor, and the fifth one which I am going to start here is, now all these things, all these different members, one more you can say, local, variable, and blocks. These things also we have gone through that. This all things we have discussed here. Fine, it is now. Now guys, one thing what we have to understand in this all different sort of things, different processes and all other sort of things here is, when and how, when memory will be allocated. allocated, when memory will be allocated for all these things. And second thing is how memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated. When and how memory will be allocated for all these things inside this. Is it okay? This is what we are going to discuss, guys, today. Any one of you are having any questions from the previous classes? And in the last class we have discussed things related to the constructors in many different ways, and number of questions as already I have discussed on the basis of constructor in different ways as well as in the different forms we have discussed. Is that okay? So now let's understand, let's talk about something else, something different kinds of concepts into these cases, right? So now we will discuss each one of the member here, what I have written here, right? And based on that we will see how, when and in what way memory for these all corresponding things are being allocated here, right? So that everything we will be discussing into this case, correct? Okay, so let's come to this picture first. Say here, guys, one important thing now for you is memory management, which I'm saying when I'm saying memory management. And if I'm saying here JVM memory management, what is the JVM memory management? So whenever I'm saying all these terms, of very specific things comes into the picture with these all things, guys, which is called as the, what we will be calling this one as garbage collection we are calling here. What we are calling this one as an? We are calling this one as an garbage collection. Fine it is. And when I am saying garbage collection, so specifically in case of Java, garbage collection is the one of the most important feature, you can say, for cleaning the memory or cleaning the memory of unused memory. Unused memory of which one? Different objects here, correct? The updated version of garbage collection what came? That is the, we will call it as an G1. In another form we can call it as an garbage first, or okay, let it be G1 itself, you remember it. So in later stages we will be discussing about garbage collection and all other different sort of things related to these all things, correct? In further cases we will be discussing what is this garbage collection is, how things are going to work and all others, fine. But before that, some of the basic terms, terminologies which you are already keep on using in your program, so about that I am going to explain first, right? So one thing, important thing here is, when I am saying JVM memory management, so if I'll ask you what happens whenever your JVM starts, what is happening here first? Whenever the JVM starts, what is things are happening? Number one point first. It is going to check. What it is going to do? Number one is, it is going to checks what it is checking? Whether that checks for the class loaded or not. the particular class, whichever class we are talking about, whether that class has been loaded or not. We are talking about that only. Whether that particular class, whether that specific class which is available here, that has been loaded or not, we are specifically talking about that. Fine, it is now. We are talking about that itself, whether that particular kind of class, particular type of class has been loaded or not. Fine. So first, it will, if not, then the very first thing what it is going to do, it loads the class. It loads the class. Now, what all different things it is going to do while loading the class, that is again one important thing. What all different things it is going to do while loading the class, that is one important thing. We will see what all things it is going to do while loading the class first. Fine, it is. I will come to this each of the one point. And now after doing this here, second important thing now, at object creation, what all these different things it is going to do at object creation, what will be done. This is also one of the important point here. Okay, so we will write one example, and after writing these examples we will be discussing each one of these points very clearly, how and what all things happens and all other sort of things. Correct it is now. So the very first thing is, number one point, I am giving a quick overview of this JVM memory management, and then till end we will be able to complete what things it is going to do inside these cases. Correct here. So the first thing is, see, and now again, when I'm talking about loading the classes, so many again, and see this here, at present we are not talking very categorically about the garbage collection here. You see, have a look here. See, at present in this, very specifically we are not talking about at present. Remember this, garbage collection. At present we are not discussing this. This is not here we have included into this, but this is one very important, and even once we will discuss this garbage collection, the same time we will discuss here G1 also. Correct. So this is also very important thing whenever we are discussing in future and all things, that time we will be discussing it. Correct. So in that case, let's have a quick overview of the complete JVM memory management, and see, I'm completely covering this JVM memory management in somewhat different way here. See, whenever Dhirendra Kumar, you will get your answer very soon. The question what Dhirendra is asking, where JVM will take place in system memory. Correct. So let me complete it, and at the end of the today's class you will get your answer that in your system where JVM will take place. Correct. Okay. So guys, whenever your first JVM starts, it takes some memory in your operating system. I think this is your answer of the question. Correct it is. And whatever the temporary memory you will call, which is there in the functioning, in that it is going to take some memory, and that memory which it is taking to perform the functions of that corresponding operations, what internally it is doing it. Correct it is. That's what it is, and that is where it is going to allocate the memory into that. Okay, I will be elaborating this again in this class itself. So the first thing, whenever JVM starts, it takes some memory from the operating system. Remember my point here. Okay. Now that particular memory, I'm saying here, memory in your operating system it is taking. Some memory it is taking in your operating system. Got it? Now this further memory which it is taking will be divided into the basic two categories, or you can say the two parts we are calling it here. Fine? 1 and 2 we are calling. One is the stack memory, basically we are calling it as a stack memory, and second one what we are calling here is the heap memory. So one is what we have is the stack memory we are calling it, and the second one which is the heap memory into this, correct? Okay. Now after these things, so first next what it is going to do is that your class which is there will be loaded into the stack memory. Where it is now? Your class. Now when I'm talking about your class, correct? So this class contains many categorical members inside the class. What is that many categorical members we are talking about? One is the, suppose here the blocks. Second one we are saying here as an methods. Next one what we are saying as the constructors. Okay. In this also methods, so blocks, methods as well as the constructors. And the fourth point which is there is the enum we are calling. Which one now? Enum we are going to call. So block we have another one. Second one is we have is the method. We have constructors. We have enum. And again one more thing which we can write again inside the class itself, which is fifth one. And this particular one, like you are writing a class inside a class, in another form what we can call it as an inner classes. Now it again depends about it depends on the what type of inner class you are writing. Again, because the processing of all that will behave on the basis of that itself. So here it depends types of inner class you are writing, because this matters a lot. But remember one more point, that other than the anonymous one, we have one, if you are not aware with that classes and the different inner classes, so that we will see here. So other than the anonymous inner class, these all other inner classes, the processing which is there will be done mostly after creation of an object. Once your object is being created, that only will come into, so there again this process, again all these things are starting again into that case, correct? So I'll write examples and then we will be discussing it one by one. Now next one here, see here first. So see, in the memory, this is all members, each one of here, each one are being allocated a different area for memory allocation. Different area, different things has been allocated for each one of these members inside the class, correct here? So at present, at the beginning of this memory management, I am not going into all of them, that what it is, where which memory is going to get. All these things I am not going to talk about in this case, correct? So here, okay, so let's come to this here first. Here you see first. When we have, so at this time class which is there, it will be loaded. So whenever your class is being loaded, it will create one default object of type java.lang class here. This particular statement itself, the one which I am saying here, the many questions could be there in your mind associated with this. Many questions could be there into your mind, that we will again talk about that all things later on, what all these different members are there, how it is going to process and how it is going to behave. So first it creates one default object of this, and now next you can say all the members of class will be placed inside where stack memory in the form of a stack frame. This all things will be placed inside the stack memory in the form of stack frame. That is one thing. Now here static variables gets memory, and where exactly it is going to get the memory? In heap. And the static block which is there is going to be processed. Static block processing, it is going to be done. The static blocks of a class which is there will be processed here. This all things are being done. This is the basic things which is being done at loading time. In programs, how all these things are being processed and all, again other things that we will be discussing about all these things, correct? I will write a program and based on that things we will be talking about things. So hope it is clear to you, basic one. Fine? Any questions anyone are getting till this point, you can please write in the comment box, we will see here. Any questions anyone? Anyone is getting any questions in this? Okay. Now in this here, well, now we'll see what will happen at the time of object creation. Say here. So okay, this is okay. I'll just remove it out. So what is going to happen at the time of object creation first? Fine. So that the one was, which one it was? Class loading, that's fine. The one which what we were having is the class loading, and now we are having the second one is the object creation. Second is the object creation we are writing here. What is that we are writing now? Object creation. So we are writing here object creation. What will happen whenever we are creating any object of the class? And in this memory management, specifically two things gets involved. One, here is the class loading, and second important thing is the object creation. These two things we have, which is a very important concept, very important point that you should understand it. Okay, so as already I have given you some bullet points about the class loading, what is the exactly class loading and how things are working out into this case, how things are going into all these things, correct? Now we have next is the object creation. So let's say a class we are having, the class what we are having is the hello. Some classes we can write here. The class name what we are writing is the hello. In this class, first one, we may have some instance variable. Second one, what we can have, static variable. Third one we are having, that is the blocks, instance and static. Constructors we can have. Fifth one, we may have the methods. It is your choice. We may have, we may not have these methods and all other sort of things. Okay. So now what I'm doing here now, I'm going to create one object of a class. I'm going to create, what is that I'm going to create now? One of the specific object of a class I'm going to create. Say here first. So well, I'll write here hello of h1 is equal to new of hello. I'm creating this object. Hello of h1 is equal to new of hello. I'm going to write. This is one object which I have created here, correct? Now when you are writing this one object into this, first, second one, third one, fourth one and fifth one. This is the following steps, following things which it is doing or performing internally. Guys, if you are getting any questions, any doubts in between these all things, see, something you need to concentrate on all these things, then only you will understand. Because and most important thing is that whether you have gone through the previous classes or not. If you would have just gone through the previous classes, you will get more clarity about all these things, or again you need to go through the all previous classes and then you may understand something into this case, correct? So here first one is, and I will tell you all these processes, what it is going to do internally, what it is going to process internally into that, correct? So when I am writing hello of h1, so when I am writing hello of h1, so h1 is what? It is something allocating 8 byte of memory, and inside this null is assigned. That already as such I have explained. And why 8 byte? Because this is a reference variable. I'm just removing it here, as h1 is the reference variable here, correct? Now second important point, that it allocates the instance variable memory for instance variable of class C. By including everything, now your JVM memory management will be established, will come into the picture, complete things. So in JVM memory management, there are many things which is there, and then by concluding everything, you will come to the final result. And then you will be able to understand exactly what is the main JVM memory management, what things from where it comes. So memory for the instance variables of a class, we are writing it here. third important point, understand it here. Third important point, what we are writing? Instance blocks of a class, that processing, right? Fourth one, this corresponding constructor is going to be processed. Whichever constructors you are writing, whatever things you are writing, so constructor will be processed. And the fifth important point is, if this all things is done, once this all processing is done, so that inside this h1 reference variable, inside the h1 reference variable, the reference of this complete thing will be stored here into this, correct? So in one shot, what you can consider, this is one memory. Hope, is it visible? Memory. This reference is being stored inside this, so at any point of time you want to access anything from here, you can get it and you can access it here. Fine. And this is what things internally it does. Again, when I'll write one example and based on that I'll explain the things, that time you will be getting more clear idea about all these things, how it works and what all the other processings are available into this here, right? So as I have written here h1, inside the h1 that reference is coming and that we are able to access the things here into this. So in this also, suppose there are few more things here. That, as I said, two things. One, stack memory, and second one is the heap memory. Two things as such we are talking about. 1 and 2. These two important things as such we are talking about. The number one, whenever we get stack memory related problem, so java.lang stack overflow error you will get. Stack overflow error. And whenever any problem related to the heap memory, if you are getting any problem related to the heap memory and all other sort of things, so then what you are going to get, java.lang out of memory error we are going to get. This is one more error what we are going to get when we are writing these all sort of things, when we are doing all this sort of things. Are you getting my point? Guys, so what I will do is I will continue with this topic itself again, that is tomorrow I will continue with the same topic, correct? And maybe you all are busy today, so there is no much to watch it. So tomorrow we will continue with the again same topic called as the JVM memory management. Further things I will write the program and I'll explain it. Till this time, those who have my book, in that I have given something, go through that something, learn it, and then again we will start these things tomorrow at the same time, 9 o'clock. Thank you. Good night to all of you.